Guys, in this video, I'm going to tell you 3 ways that this bike has changed my life for the better. And that's not an exaggeration. Okay guys, yet another successful store entry without being denied bringing my bicycle in. That's why I love this thing, man. It is just so unbelievably awesome to be able to take it into a store with you, and then the cashier asks you about the bicycle, and they ask you all these questions like, I've never seen a bicycle like that. And you know, that's what I get mostly when I go into a store or a restaurant. I don't get somebody going, you can't bring that in here. You know, I don't get that at all. Let me take this mask off. This thing's kind of getting a little bit irritating. Okay, that's better. Today in this video, I want to talk to you guys about how the Brompton has changed my life, how it's changed my outlook on life. I know that seems like a bold statement, and a lot of you guys are going, yeah, right. How did that bike do that, Brian? Come on. Well, I'm about to tell you guys, okay? One of the ways is obviously commuting. You guys seen the bus, you've seen the train, the light rail system that runs through Denver, goes all the way out to even where I work. It goes all the way out to the mountains. There's all kinds of multimodal transportation options with the Brompton. It's opened up so much in the way of backup transportation. And I've had to use the backup transportation several times. It gives me such a peace of mind knowing that if I get sick, or if I sprain my ankle at work, or if something happens where I cannot ride my bike home, I could always get a ride home. It's so comforting knowing that you have so many options for transportation now. Because a lot of times you can't really plan things out, okay? You ride your bike to work and then all of a sudden there's a massive snowstorm or whatever, or something happens, you know, and you can't ride your bike home for some reason. So if that happens, knowing that I can be able to get a ride home from anybody with any size car, I could take public transportation, and there's all these different modes of transportation that I could partake in, knowing that it's just such a weight off my shoulders. I've done 3 winters here in Colorado, guys, 3. And one thing about Colorado is they do not treat their roads, especially secondary roads. They treat the interstates and they treat the primary roads. But a lot of times I'm taking secondary roads to work. They don't treat those at all. So most of the time those roads stay snow covered until they melt, which is quite a pain in the butt when you have a bicycle. Now the snow, don't get me wrong guys, the snow is not a problem. I can ride through the snow with little to no issue whatsoever. The problem is that when cars ride on snow for any extended period of time, it turns into a sheet of ice. When you have whole neighborhoods where every road in those neighborhoods are nothing but a sheet of ice like a skating rink, it gets pretty damn dangerous. And I have studs on my bigger commuter bike. I have studded snow tires, and I've still slipped and fell a couple of times. They don't protect you all the time. It's not a big issue normally, but the problem is when you combine Denver drivers are very, very, very impatient. They're also very, very aggressive type of drivers. The only time I fell last winter was because some driver was pulling up right behind me and following way too close, and I'm riding on a sheet of ice basically. And what happened is I looked back to see why this guy was riding so close to me, and I slipped and I fell right off my bicycle. And if he hadn't stopped in time, he would have ran me over. After that, I realized that I need to have a backup mode of transportation when roads get that bad. It's just not worth getting crippled or mangled if, Denver isn't going to treat their roads and if drivers aren't going to pay attention. It's just not worth it. So when roads get unbelievably bad, when they become big sheets of ice, I'm going to start taking the bus to a safer location and riding from there, or I'm going to take the light rail all the way out to the Stapleton area. And this bike is going to make that possible. So it's going to alleviate all of those worries that I have during the winter time. It's like when it snows and it's icy, I'm like, oh man, I'm so worried because you just don't know what can happen. And now I don't have to worry about that. So it's definitely improved my mental outlook for the winter time. So the next way that Brompton has really improved my life is it's helped me become more social. And I know you're thinking, how does a bike help you become more social, Brian? That doesn't make a bit of sense. I mean, seriously, but it has. And let me explain, okay? I am a massive introvert. It is so hard for me to interact with people at all. So yes, this bike definitely has caused me to become more social. It's definitely kind of forced me to become more social in two ways in particular, online and in real life. Online because I'm sharing my experiences with you guys. I'm sharing information that I have and sharing my experiences riding and enjoying this wonderful bike with you guys online. And you guys are responding to that in the comment sections, and you're sharing your stories with me, and you're sharing all the information you have with me. So in that way, I've become way more social than I used to be. And in real life, people have come up to me off the street and said, hey, I've seen your videos, man, great videos. And we get into conversations, we get into discussions about the bike, we get into discussions about things that are completely unrelated. So it's definitely helped me become more social. I met a couple people the other day that had Bromptons themselves and saw me online, and they invited me to come out on a ride with them. So it's definitely helping me get out there. It's definitely helping me become more interactive with people in real life as well, which has been amazing and totally out of character for me. Guys, the next way that this bike has really changed my life is the fact that it has opened up a world of possibilities that were never open to me before. There are two aspects of that. There's travel possibilities and there's touring possibilities. both of those two things were out of my reach.
Guys, if I travel somewhere, I feel naked if I don't have my bicycle with me. And traveling with a bicycle is quite cumbersome. It can be a logistical nightmare trying to figure out how to get your bike from point A to point B, especially with all the hoops that the airlines make you jump through in order to be able to take your bike with you anywhere. I tended to have this policy that if my bike cannot go, then I'm not going to go. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I haven't traveled anywhere very much, because I had a hard time figuring out how I was going to take my bike, or it was just too much trouble to take my bike. So I just said, you know what, I'm just not going to go.
I don't have unlimited resources. I don't have all the money in the world just to blow, you know. I have to budget my money just like anybody else. I can't blow tons and tons of money on Uber rides everywhere. I cannot blow tons and tons of money on extra fees at the airline for taking my bicycle. And time is another thing. I cannot blow tons and tons of time putting together bicycles and loading up bicycles and all this stuff that the airlines make you do when you want to travel somewhere. I don't have to worry about none of that with this bicycle, which is so liberating. So with touring and travel, time and money are the two big things. And I don't have a lot of time, and I don't have an unlimited source of money. If I want to take a weekend trip, you know, spur of the moment, I can do that. Whereas before, taking a spur of the moment 3-day trip, it took a lot of planning. And a lot of times I didn't even have time to do the planning. So yes, this bike has changed my life due to the possibilities it offers me. All of those things that were closed to me before are open to me now, and I'm able to really, really start focusing on some of the places I want to go see and some of the things I want to go do. So in that respect, it's given me a lot of hope for the future. It's given me a lot of hope that I can go do all the things that I want to do before I die. So anyway, guys, those are some of the ways, a few of the ways that Brompton has changed my life for the better. And it's a bold statement, I know. It's a bold statement to say a bike changes your life, but this one has. It really has improved my life tenfold. And I couldn't thank it enough, to be honest. So anyway, if you guys have any comments or questions, leave them down in the comment and questions section. Slap a like on the video if you like it, and I will talk with you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.